They haven't said I love you yet. I mean, you guys been going out for a year now, and you've already said I love you. Whether it's a year, whether it's a couple months, but you guys known each other for a while, whatever the case may be, they just haven't said I love you yet. You have said it already. Or maybe you haven't said it already, but you're waiting for them to say it. Why haven't they said I love you yet you feel like they truly do love you? Why? Well, the first reason is because they are afraid to say I love you. That's just simple. I mean, they're afraid to say I love you, whether it's because they're waiting for you, or whether it's because they feel like saying I love you traps them, in a sense. They feel like the relationship is going good, and if they say I love you, that means they have an obligation to keep up that I love you type of feeling. So let's say they want to go traveling to a different country, and maybe they feel like when it comes to love, they feel like they have to wait for you to be able to maybe get the money to travel with them, or wait for you to be able to come with them, or whatever. And they feel like if they go by themselves, they're not holding up to their I love you. And that's just one scenario. Another scenario could be just plain anything. And they feel like they are not in the situation, or they're not in the position to tell you I love you at that moment. And even though it may be true, something is holding them back. You know, they want to make sure it's kind of like someone not asking you to marry them. You know, even though you know they love you and you guys are great together, it's probably because they're saving up money for a ring, you know, or they want to graduate college before they go to that next level. And that's why. And sometimes you don't need to hear someone say I love you. Sometimes them showing you that they love you by the things they do is more than enough. And for that you just got to wait it out. Another reason is they don't know what love is. At least they don't think they do. And they feel like saying I love you could potentially not mean what they really think it is. They think they probably said I love you to someone before who they lost, who used them or abused them, and they just don't feel like they know what love is, or they don't know, they're not sure about how they feel about you, honestly. And even though it's obvious that they love you, and to them it's obvious that they love you, they don't want to say those words because it's kind of haunting them from the past. The past is haunting them with those words. So the solution for that and for the other reasons is to say I love you if you haven't already. And if you have already said I love you, don't pressure them into saying I love you, because that's not gonna end well. Just don't say I love you, but just be persistent. That's the solution. Just be persistent. Don't say I love you every day. Don't say I love you every week. Hell, say I love you only when you feel the need to say I love you to them. Don't say it simply because you want them to say it back. Say it at times. Like, in other words, say it on special occasions. That way, when you say I love you and they don't say it back, they don't feel obligated to say I love you to you. You don't want someone to feel obligated to say I love you to you, because if they say I love you and they don't mean it, that's all bad. And that actually is going to ruin your chances of of them actually saying I love you and meaning it. So if you already said I love you to them and they're like I need time, then just hold off on the words I love you. Really, just do that. And even though you want to say I love you to that person, you really just need to hold off on that and only use it on special occasions. Maybe if they're sick, really sick, and you go off to bring them food and like, oh, thank you, and you'll be like, oh, I love you. And that's okay. But saying it after every kiss or something, as of this moment, is probably not the best, because I've actually been in that situation where I just don't love the person. So.